Let's take a quick review at simplifying fractions. It's important to remember that when we do our operations, addition or subtraction, to then check your fraction, your answer, to see whether or not it can be simplified. So let's take a look at 4/6 minus 1/6. Well, we're going to really just do the 4 minus 1 because we're keeping the same size pieces. So we're going to get 3/6. Now I need to decide, can 3/6 be simplified? Well, I have some thirds here. Are the thirds going to match up? No, it does not simplify to thirds. Well, how about a half? We can see that it does simplify to a half. Now, as a reminder, another way of doing that is to look at, well, what multiplies 1 and 3, and what multiplies to make 6? 1, 2, 3, and 6. There's that common factor. Divide these both by 3, and we will get 1/2. We have to do the same thing when we're adding our fractions. So 4/6 plus 1/6 would be 5/6. Now let me check and see if this is going to match up. Let me start by bringing down some thirds. Well, there's 1/3. There's 2/3, but it takes 2/6 to make a third, so there's an extra third there. It's not going to match up with the thirds. Let's check the half. Now, if I were to make a second one of these, I think it's going to be too big. And I'm right. So 5/6 is simplest. It's nothing that it can simplify to. Well, as a reminder, 1 and 5 multiply to make 5. 1, 2, 3, and 6 multiply to make 6. Well, their greatest common factor is 1. So it is simplest form. So I'm done with that one. Let's look at a couple more examples. 8/12 plus 2/12, which is 10/12. So now when I'm thinking about simplifying twelfths, I'm thinking it makes sense to come over here and think about sixths or fourths or thirds or halves, because those all can go into 12. So I'm going to start to think about, well, what makes the most sense? Well, how about a half? Nope, not even close. How about a third? Now maybe if I do another third. Now look, it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 twelfths to make a third, so thirds aren't going to match up. How about a fourth? It's only taken 3 of them, so let's see. Nope, I still have an extra space there, so it's not my fourths. So how about my sixths? This is my last one that makes sense, right? Because otherwise, it's already simplest form. And look at that. I get 5/6. Now, as a reminder, 10 can be the numbers that can multiply to make 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. And for 12 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. And there's that 2. I can divide both of these by 2, my numerator and denominator, and get that 5/6 for my simplest form. Now, when they're both even numbers like that, we usually know that 2 can work. All right, how about 8/12 minus 5/12? Well, that's going to be 3/12. Now, when I have 3/12, I have to start thinking about, can that be simplified? Now, when I see 3/12, the only thing I'm thinking of is I'm thinking of thirds, because I see that number 3 there, and I'm thinking, okay, nothing else is going into 3, so let's see if thirds work. Nope, thirds isn't working. How about fourths? And fourths does work, because it takes 3/4 to make a 12. So if we're thinking about it, 1 and 3 make 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12 make 12. Well, there's that 3. We're going to simplify by 3 and get 1/4. Now, when you are doing this with mixed numbers, you still have to simplify. So 2 1/4 plus 1/4 would be 2 2/4. Now, the only thing I really need to simplify is my fraction, the 2/4. Now, if I look here, I can see that it simplifies to 1/2. Now, notice the 2 wholes are still there. So this simplifies to 2 1/2. Now, how did we simplify it? Well, we divided it by 2, and we're going to keep that 2 wholes, and then simplify. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2, 2 1/2. Same thing down here, 3 7/10 minus 2 5/10. Well, I'm going to get 1 2/10, which I have built here. So now I'm going to start to think about, well, what can I simplify my 5/10 to? My 2/10. If I bring down a 1/5, I can see how that's matching up. Well, I still have that 1 whole. So now what I'm going to think about is, okay, well, 1 and 2 make 2. 1, 2, 5, and 10 make 10. There's the 2. So I'm going to divide it by 2. But I still have my 1 whole. So it's 1 whole in 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 1 1/5.